Footy's back. Ba-da-da. Oh, ba-ba. Ba-da-da. Ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba. That's right. Welcome to Footy Unfilterated. And I'll tell you what, I'm your host, James Clements. 4-0. 4-0, because on the other side of this here screen is everyone, especially my favourite Essendon fan, my in-law family excluded. Better throw that in there as a disclaimer. Everyone else's favourite Essendon fan, it's Jez. Jez, what's cracking?
Well, aside from the given result in the Footy Unfilterated Cup, I had an awesome weekend. I went to the Freeze M&D at the G yesterday, and that was an absolute awesome day out. It's happy days. How good was the weather over the weekend too? Oh, give me that. Beautiful. Every day of the week. Perfect.
Spent a bunch of time on the roof doing the gutters because I had a chance to. So there you go. It's real hardcore stuff here in Brunswick, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, round 13 is done. Footy is more than halfway through the season, if you can believe that, which is crazy. But obviously the biggest thing from this weekend is that halfway through the Footy Unfilterated Bowl between my beloved Blues and your Essendon, I was halfway booking through a plane ticket back to the US because, if I'd come back and then the Blues start losing again straight away, especially to the bomb race, it would have been all over Red Rover.
So anyway, I've got to the bottom of. Hold on a second. My phone is recording everything that I say in text. Boomer alert.
Is your flashlight?
No. It might as well be. So when we were kicking away in the second quarter, my wife, who is a noted not football supporter and definitely not an Essendon supporter, pipes up and goes, "Your team might actually win." And I turned around and went, "You shut your mouth." And then she of course laughed quite loudly and went to bed not long after half time. And when I got to bed, I told her that I didn't like her anymore and I'd like a divorce. And she laughed again. So the blame is on my wife. All Essendon supporters, it's Rebecca. All her.
Nailed it. All right, we're going to wrap up round 13 really quick. We've got our weekly awards. We'll do some quick nars. We've got the round 14 preview and picks as well. So let's get into it. It's Footy without the bull. It's Footy Unfilterated. Oh, we timed that nicely, Jez. The end of the song as we faded out. You beauty. What a week of footy that was. I was so happy to be back for this weekend, obviously, for multitudes of reasons, seeing my family, By the same token,
stock standard responses you're supposed to give.
Yeah, they're fine, I guess. I like them.
Still kicking.
Yeah. But I sort of managed to time our return with one of the greatest rounds of footy we'll see this year because
pretty good.
Of the 7 games, 5 of them were decided by a kick or less, which is not bad. So
and then there was one that definitely wasn't.
Yeah, that was it. I think the 2 that weren't were the 2 I watched the least as well because it was like Saturday afternoon where I was busy with the Squids, I think, at that point as well. And the other 5, however, I managed to watch large swathes of, including the Friday night game where I was at, I had to go to Descendants, one of my favourite bands ever. They played the Forum, but I did manage to get a feed beforehand and watch like the vast majority of the first half. And I'm like, this is a great game of football. And then Hawthorn decided to do what I did and not rock up for the second half. So good on them. It was great because we had a lot of upsets, a lot of crazy stuff going on. It was lots of fun. And I guess the other big stories are umpire contact. That's a big thing. Injuries. And 23-0. Because I don't know how much time. I spent a lot of time playing that.
Lucky I didn't get on it.
I spent way too much time playing 23-0. Similar to the 82-0 NBA version, of which the AFL one is a knockoff and that's fine. It's very
How we
entertaining.
roll here in Australia.
Exactly. And I was sitting at the pub. I'm just like, all right, well, I'll just keep going, having a crack at this. And then I'm like, oh, God, I'm addicted. This is dangerous. I might never speak to my kids and wife again. But the good thing was a lot of really fun football, umpire contact, injuries. Where do you want to start, Jess?
Well, I might kick off on the old umpire contact because I, as you would expect, I have some thoughts. There was a few, and I don't have an issue with the penalising of it. However, I do have an issue with the type of penalising, and there was one in particular, and yes, I'm sitting here with an Essendon shirt on, but in the Footy Unfilterated Cup, there was one where the Carlton player and the Essendon player were, it was at the ball up, they were sort of wrestling for position, and the Carlton player was just stronger than the Essendon player, and he happened to move him into the path of the umpire, who got clipped on the shoulder, nothing in it, not intentional, nothing like that. I think we've got 4 umpires out there, Jim. Surely they can say, hey, that was accidental. He was pushed by another player. Let's just ball it up again, right? If the player walks into the path, especially when they now make a big deal about clearing their, they're waving their hand, their tail behind them to say, this is where I'm coming. So if a player runs into that space, automatic free kick against. Let's do away with all the fines and all that stuff. The quickest way to stamp it out is free kick against. And you watch it disappear very quickly.
Yep. I think I do like that this is, it's sort of like, I'm just going to go big picture. The AFL has got like a big problem a lot of the time, it always seems, with a lot of things. And... this is one of my favorite things is spinning the AFL roulette bingo wheel. What is it going to land on this week? And this week it's like umpire contact. It's chaos. Because I think the Pies were pretty hard done by it. But the thing is, the AFL did come out and like get in front of this as well and go, hey, we're 100% like not going to let this happen much.
Yeah.
Can you just not run into the umps? Everyone's been warned. Some teams have been warned more than others because they're more susceptible to it, seemingly, which is a bit strange. And I'm like, all right, this is one of the random things that the AFL has actually gotten kind of okay-ish at, but it does still somehow feel slipshod and reactive because
it's very reactive, and it's like everything the AFL does. And it's interesting, you watch that you mentioned that's what they're going to focus on, because we had a pretty lengthy discussion on the car ride in. I went with 3 mates yesterday, and the between the 4 of us about the umpiring and how the 4 umpires has actually made it harder for them. Combine that with they've got so many rules that they have to think about, and then they go into training and go into their meeting for the week, and they're told, okay, you have to focus on this. There's probably 10 things they've got to focus on, none of which are the basics of the game, like holding the ball or pushing the back, or any of these ones that have been rules for 150 plus years. So what we get is these umpires who are looking for these new rules, and because they've only got so much brain capacity as a human being, they are focusing on what is front of mind. And so while they might have a high contact, for argument's sake, or a dropping the ball right in front of them, they're busy looking for another rule, or another rule that they've been drummed into that week that they have to focus on. So instead of actually paying the free kicks they're just looking for the ones that they're being told to look at. And it just shows in the way they're umpiring. So, and then you look at I actually sat we were in FF yesterday, pretty much centre wing, as you can see from the photo in my background there. That was the view from our seat, which was quite cool. But what it gave me was the opportunity to look at where the umpires position themselves, and they do not position themselves well to be able to see the whole play when you've got 4 of them. There's at times you've got 2 of them that are almost within 15 metres of each other on the same side of the play, and it's just, how are they supposed to officiate a game when they can't even get into the right position? So I think the biggest problem with the umpires isn't the umpires themselves. They're probably doing the best they can, because you look at what they've got thrown at them as far as rule changes and all this other garbage, as well as the usual stuff that umpires cop. I think it's the AFL and their rules committee that's really thrown the umpires under the bus, and I think that's where they need to start, by paring it back and actually looking at where they need to be to make to officiate the game properly and allow them to have a bit of common sense, which obviously isn't that common, but discretion with their calls, rather than it being to the letter of the law. And that's what they're doing. They're umpiring to the letter of the law because they don't have a choice. They've got to do something, otherwise, what else they do. So whereas if we pull a lot of these crap rules back, like ruck rules and all that sort of stuff, and let them officiate to the feel of the game, you'll get a lot less uproar from the fans. You'll still get the carry on from the media, because let's be honest, Jim, the media are knobs. So why would you listen to them when you could come and listen to us?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's I'll cut the rant there, because I could go on for hours on this, as you can probably tell.
Well, I think it also speaks to there was a lot of sort of hullabaloo this week already about the way that the media rights deals for the AFL and the NRL are going to be sort of figured out in the next few years, right? So the AFL's locked in for a very long time still.
Yeah.
But obviously with new ownership there with Foxtel, et cetera, it's just going to be a little bit strange. NRL's trying to renegotiate, is out of its deal in a little bit, and suddenly has extremely good ratings. And the AFL have already come out this week and said, yo, but seriously, we have at least 1.1 mil people watching Thursdays, at least. It's been the lowest. That's amazing. We're awesome. And it's got a very strange image problem, I think, week to week, where it's almost so reactive and so fan-led and so media-driven, where we're concocting random furors week on week on week on week, so ex-footballers in ill-fitting suits can argue about it on the telly. It just doesn't seem ideal. There's so very little of the actual this is what matters in football to folks, and a lot of the extraneous guff. And the AFL has probably opened that genie box a little bit too far and can't stuff it back in. So it's probably something that I'm fascinated by, and will probably continue to bite them on the ass until basically they probably have somebody who's a vaguely inspiring leader step back in. And I for one will put my hand up, and yes, I will take the job of CEO of the AFL. I will fix this. I'm just saying, there's my candidacy right there.
Well, what can I do but just second that notion and slide in on your coattails as the who's second to the CEO, or just your PA, whatever. Just as long as I'm getting a paycheck.
You could be my official Laura Kane. Nice. Right. But anyway, look, this is something we continue talking about week on week on week.
I've got plenty in the bank for this topic. I can go for. I could just do a live stream until I finish and fall asleep. So might have to. Yeah,
might do that at some point. That's the pre-finals bye week that we used to have. That I think is now the wild card round. I want to say. Anyway, the other one this week is obviously injuries. Brody Myercheck had an absolute terrifying one.
Yeah.
Lost feeling in his limbs when he got hit. I think we actually have the suspension having just come through for 3 weeks as well on Billy Frampton. And it's there was a fracture in Myercheck's neck, but luckily
managed to avoid any
spinal column injuries or anything like that. So
he had there was reports that he was okay when he came off the ground, and then he started convulsing, and was taken straight to hospital. And obviously, thankfully, he got the best sort of. Really, let's be honest, they probably got some of the best medical staff on hand for these players. And why wouldn't you? They paid a lot of money. They play a pretty hectic, high, intense sport. So. But just glad to hear he's okay. That's obviously him done for a while, which is a shame. And in the same, within, I think it was in a minute or two, Braden Maynard went off the ground with a dislocated shoulder from 2 separate bumps. So, couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. But
he's a war criminal. Here we are. Yeah. The other big ones, Ruben Jimby.
Yeah.
Quad.
Ooh.
That's It was a brutal one too. Absolutely shredded. So I think his season's done. Archie May is also done for the season with his shoulder, which is horrible. Callum Archie, there goes another soft tissue hammy. Justin McInerney, 8 to 10 weeks with his hammy, which is crazy bad.
He was on track for All Australian too. Like he was having a career year, so that one hurts. So
then you've got Will Powell out for 1 to 3 weeks with his shoulder. Lockie Weller and Will Graham with 4 to 6 weeks for their hammies as well. And then the other tough one for the Swans was Tom McCartan, another concussion, which is real
the family
worrisome.
history is not good there, is it?
No. So tough week, I think, for the injury list. I think at least for the Swans, like Errol is sort of on track to at least return at some point, which is kind of nice. But it sucks for J Mac and Tom McCartan because you just never know. And like the concussions when it comes to the McCartans, you just don't screw with it. You just can't. No. So that's pretty tough. Other reports, obviously, Tex Walker got suspended for a game as well for his rough contact. Rough conduct.
Fair enough too. I think.
Just mentioned the Frampton 3 weeks too.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Jez, before we get into some game wraps?
I think in case you didn't catch it, because they've been carrying on about it, but Scott Pendlebury broke the games record again this week. So, it's nice that they remind us of that before every game he plays. Okay. So, thanks very much for that, every footy outlet out there.
Nice. Well, I was about to rank all 108 of Nick Dacos's games. So,
this week, we let's just combine them and rank all of the games that him and Pendlebury have played together. Probably 108.
Actually, I have no idea what it. Oh, he's 107. I was very close. Jeez, good job, me.
That's a good guess.
Anyway, let's do it. Round 14, the game wraps. Game wraps. Thursday, I think we talked about this last week on last week's show. A great Thursday night game is an Adelaide Geelong matchup, and it turned out to be a great Thursday game as well. I think the Adelaide Oval is just one of the great. If we've got Power or the Crom playing a Thursday or a Friday night game each week, I think I'm kind of happy because it looks awesome. It's always fun. Those crowds are absolute psychos. It's great. 75-74, however, thanks to Fogg's last, the point that he kicked late, and then, basically the Jordan Dawson heroics just absolutely monstering them late and sort of giving them just enough breathing room. I was on the edge of the couch for this entire game, just going, what the hell is going to happen here? This is awesome. It was such a good game. No one was sort of ever out of it. It was just I don't know. I haven't actually looked at the worm. I love a good score worm. I can only imagine it's just doing quite literally the worm the entire time because it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One other injury thing we didn't mention was that Jezza Cameron looked all sorts of cooked in that game as well. It looks like he hurt his arm against the Blues the week prior. The one that's got the plate in it, right? And so hopefully he's all right. But he was all sorts of out of it, so not great. But anyway, any other vibes on this one, Jez, apart from the Crom finally actually beat a team in the top 8?
Well, I didn't actually get to watch it, so I've just sort of covered what I think, what I've read and heard about it. But are we worried about Geelong?
I mean, that's a no that I've got later.
Yeah,
and the answer is going to be.
Probably should have looked ahead at the sheet.
Basically, my answer is it's a setup for a little bit. Yeah, there's just getting a little bit squirrely, and if you've got Jezza suddenly injured, it's just all getting a little bit sideways, a little bit quickly, right?
It's a true 8-point game, and I reckon there's a few others that have been that 8-point game that the nerds like Jared and stuff like that like to carry on about. But that was, if ever there was one, if Geelong have lost that, and it's sort of going to affect their season. And Adelaide, if they'd have lost it, well, we would have been saying the same thing about them. But I don't know. I've still got hope for Adelaide. I think they can come good and make a run at it, and I think they're starting to get moving. So we'll see.
The Cats as well have only lost the 2 games by a total of 5 points. So it's not too bad.
But they did lose to Port Adelaide, who are garbage.
Anyway, good win for Adelaide because, as you said, sort of keeps them in touch because they're now 7-5 versus like being 6-6 and sort of sitting in that like 10th spot, being hunted down by the likes of my beloved Blues. So big win for them. Geelong, I think, are fine. They're fine, especially considering they'll play like Gold Coast at home or whatever this week and romp it in. Friday, 71, Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs, 77. What a game. This was psycho. We had some just amazing goals in that first half. It just sort of, one back and forth. The Wizard was going off his head early, and I don't know. The second half, however, for the Hawks was just an absolute horror show there, Jez.
Well, the Wizard waved his wand and made himself disappear at halftime because he was on fire. I thought he was going to kick an absolute bag, and he just said, "Nah, I've had enough. I'm going home." The Dogs, on the other hand, they were awesome. They were really fun to watch. It was actually a really and I love a bit of biff, but the push and shove and all that sort of stuff, that was really good. It just kept breaking out, and I'm sitting there on the edge and said, "Come on, Hugh, come on!" Me and every other 50+ white male sitting there cheering on the biff. So, we're red-blooded males, Jim. It's in our DNA.
I like.
But I watched this game. It was so good.
They had him doubled up at the half, right? It was like 54-27, and then the Hawks kicked 1-11 the rest of the game, which is just crazy. So no Gunston, and just it was all a bit of a
Mitch
Barry
Lewis
Crocker
didn't look like getting near it. It was the Dogs though. The Bont, he was unreal. And even with the Dogs, Aaron Norton did not look like getting near it all night. He was really well held by, I think it was a Battle who was on him. So they've done it without a real key forward presence other than Will Lewis popped up for his goal late. But I'm really, really excited about the Dogs and the way they're heading, especially with the injury list. I think it's going to be hard to keep it up. But, geez, they're going well now.
They really have. So that's another year now we'll hit on later. It's just, I'm impressed. Yep. Then we copped a big whomping out west as North Melbourne sold off the home game to Bunbury to play Freo.
19 goals in a row.
It's crazy. So I was watching this one with the Squids early, and I'm like, wow, this is a fun, close game. And then it was not a fun, close game because I don't think North scored again. It was terrifying. I'm like, this is a really fun, good game. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's over. Pack her up, boys. It was crazy, absolutely crazy how quickly this got away from the Roos. Alistair Clarkson was after the game going, yeah, that sucked. We're horrible. What are we doing? No excuses. That was just bad. We stink. And you're like, that tracks, Clarko. Yeah, Freo are very, 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 very good.
And they're doing it without Sarong.
Yeah.
They're never going to lose ever again, and they're going to have to change their name to Flagmantle because they're just going to keep winning it every year. But geez, they are so good at the moment, and equally North Melbourne, WTF, like they've just fallen off a cliff all of a sudden, haven't they?
Yep. Then we had Gold Coast just firing blanks in the Q clash. Brisbane 106, Gold Coast 75. My beloved Suns, I was very disappointed with this one because they let Logan Morris go off his head and kick about 70 goals. It was 7 goals, a career high, I think, and he missed like 4 or something others, and also had another couple of pings, and you're like, could have kicked 10 pretty easily. Yeah. Gold Coast, the injuries are sort of mounting, and it just, watching this, you're like, why are they getting smashed in the contest? Like, they've got Rao, they've got Miller, they've got Petrarca. What is happening here? And it's really sort of hard to put your finger on. The only one that really stood out to me was my beloved, my grown adult son, Jed Walter, aside, my best mate, Ned Moyle, aside. The weapon, Johnny Noble, was really good.
Yeah.
But Brisbane just smashed him otherwise. Lockie Neal was fantastic, and they lost no Hugh McCluggage in this one. He was a laid out as well on, Thursday or Friday or whatever, but they just absolutely handled them in this game. It was crazy, Jess.
they just looked back. As much as they, in the last few weeks, they'd looked ordinary, especially by their standards. They looked like the premiership team. They weren't back, but you could see that they've turned a corner. They've turned whatever they've done during the week since the loss the week before. They've said, "Yeah, we're enough of this. Let's stop using the whiteboard and get stuck into it." So I think, again, they've got a few injuries, but again, not to the guys aside from McCluggage that have got them to the two flags. So, but I think Draper, as much as that name is taboo in this house, Sam Draper has really started to gel with his teammates, and I think that came to fruition on the weekend. He was quite good, gave them first use. Look, I think that was just a little bit of a downward curve for the Lions, and I think you'll see them start to slowly progress into where they know they need to be to have another crack at it. So I don't know whether they can. Maybe injuries and the loss of a couple of players to other clubs might prevent them going all the way. But if they're there and if they're in form, there's no reason why they couldn't. And they showed it on. I
think there was also the fact that was like going into this as well. Brisbane hadn't lost 4 straight since like 2018 or something, which is crazy because they weren't very good for a little bit there too until they turned the corner. So not bad. Then the games got good again because West Coast was a belter. Came from the clouds. Port absolutely hanging on by their fingernails out west. 71-77, the Power hold on to win because it was just like an absolute barrage in that last quarter. It was sick. Was it 3 sets shots that the Eagles missed in that fourth quarter as well that you're like, oh, God, they've missed another one. I believe even my good friend, the J Train, missed one, which was a heartbreaker. But you had, at least 2 other ones. They had 19-8 inside 50s in the fourth quarter, and they came flying back. They're up by 22 or whatever in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get there. Butters was awesome. Hornet was really, really, really good. And I think the cool thing for me watching this one was like watching Ratugolea and Aliir like play together and play well together, which is like one of those things that sort of, it's kind of an idealized version of the two of them should work, but it just sort of never has really fit. But this time it kind of did, so that was good, I thought. I don't know. Otherwise, fun game.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing you get with 2 bottom teams. If they keep it close, it's fun watching who can shit the bed the fastest or the messiest, I guess. So you're always going to get that you're either going to get one team really run over the top of them or you're going to get what you got on Saturday night. So good on them. They're still garbage, Port.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yep. Then we had the final 3 games. Oh, as I said, like of all these games, actually it was 6 of 8. What am I saying? 5 of 7. It was 8 games and 6 of them were fantastic. Sydney, 104, St Kilda 102.
Wow.
This was 103-102 basically until that kick after the siren for a Marty party. But it was all because of the Jai Sarong goal off the Heaney hand pass, which was just absolutely amazing. Saints got dogged a bit, you felt, at times. But I don't know. Sometimes you make your own luck. And St Kilda, karma, just saying, maybe.
Yeah. This game was cool. I really enjoyed it. I was sort of in and out watching it from walking the dog and doing what you do on a Sunday when you've got Monday off. And, I came in and watched I think I watched the second half, and I thought the Saints were going to run away with it. And then all of a sudden, Sydney just kept getting one back, and St Kilda did what average teams do, and they stopped and said, nah, we're not going to win this. Not easily anyway. I thought they'd get there, but geez, tell you what, Jai Sarong, he's got to be up there for Recruit of the Year. Like, he's flown under the radar, but I think he's played just about every game, bar maybe 1 or 2, and he'd be averaging probably 20 touches, and he's just been really good. Not over the top, not superstar, he's just been consistent and good. So a lot of people are talking about other people for recruiting. I'd be putting Jai Sarong up there. I reckon he's been awesome.
I like it. The point at which this, like the Chad Chunley Warner goal in that fourth quarter to sort of get them right back in it, we're like, oh God, we've now got a chance to steal this. And then, the Sarong goal was amazing. But I think, was it Liam Ryan who actually kicked the one to put the Saints back up in that halfway through that fourth quarter? And you're like, this is just an absolute rollicking affair. I'm like,
absolute screamer too earlier in the game. That was unreal. So,
but they're up by more than
was good as well.
TDK was fantastic. Silvani was everywhere as well. Like a million intercept marks. He was really, really, really good. All numbers approximate, of course, here on Footy Unfilterated. We're big J journalists. But
with the capital,
the way that they sort of pulled it all off was just classic Sydney and classic St Kilda. So it's the fact that it came down to the death was awesome. I love a good plugger bowl. I enjoyed the colour matchups as well. It's just like sort of a classic. It screams to me like late 90s, like the post plugger move, like Stewie Lowe up against, one end plugger at the other end, and away we go.
All they needed was a pig let loose on the ground, and it would have been bang on.
It's awesome.
Bring back the pig.
Great win for Sydney. This is just the resilience in St Kilda. It's just they can't get out of their own way sometimes.
It's just so St Kilda the way they lost that game.
So they've just lost to Freo, Hawks, and Sydney. So they've just played the top three sides, and yes, they've lost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tough ask to play all three, isn't it? Like, come on,
the
man.
way they lost
anyway,
like they got slapped. So,
yep. And then we had the Footy Unfilterated Bowl. Essendon 67, Carlton 72, never in doubt.
Robbed. 41 seconds for a 30-second set shot.
I was going to say that sound you just heard was me taking 41 seconds to pause before talking about this game. I have been at games, however, where Harry Mackay has clunked a goal from like 55 and it is electric. So as he's lining it up, I'm like, he better have a shot because this is going to rock if he kicks it. And then he sort of he gave it a bit of a roost, but it's like only still landed 10, 15 metres out in front. And I'm okay.
I'm not.
People were up in arms. I'm okay with this.
I am. I'm not.
He's all arms.
I'm all arms. That's all I've got is arms. So Ken Hinkley, and this is my argument, and Ken Hinkley said it on the coverage that when he was coaching Port Adelaide, he asked a question, and the umpires told him, the umpiring department told him if the mark is either on or within the 50-metre penalty, that's classed as a shot. Otherwise, it's not unless the siren has gone to end the game or the quarter. Okay, I'll move on from that. However, how was he allowed 41 seconds, Jim? Ridiculous. Anyway, it's not going to matter
egregious.
At the end of the day. I was happy enough with how we played. It's the same old stuff that keeps happening. Our decision making, our skill errors. We didn't give Nate Caddy a chance to do anything. All the delivery was either to the man who was cutting him off or over his head. So, and look, I thought we played okay considering how ordinary we are, and I thought Carlton were very lucky to win.
They were. They smashed Carlton in contested possessions, clearances, all that sort of stuff, right? It was crazy how they basically, especially in the first half, out Carlton. And then Carlton sort of slowly just reasserted themselves and just there was like a bit of it. There was enough of a gap in class to sort of just hold on, get your noses in front and sort of stay there. Not quite the avalanche I was maybe sort of hoping for, but it was like enough for them to do it. Harry kicking a big goal was pretty handy. Cripps taking another big mark inside 50 and then absolutely botching the set shot was the most predictable thing in the world after his heroics last week and going, their snapping's just really easy. It's like, then he's taking a set shot like on a slight angle and just, boots it into next Tuesday. The thing is, Walsh, the non-contested possessions was crazy for him. He's got a bit of a bunged shoulder. It was the lack of, they pointed this out on the broadcast as well, the lack of hustle from Hayward and McGovern and stuff early on was just abysmal, but they sort of slowly turn it around. So
we had similar, but in the second half, Durham was on fire and looked like a man on a mission in the first half, and then he obviously borrowed Nick Watson's wand and disappeared in the third quarter. And he wasn't alone. There was a few who would, really come into the game and then just all of a sudden they were gone. That'll be the worst, and I know we'll get to this, but that's probably the worst game you'll see Zach Merritt play in a long time. So
it was,
and there was a game earlier in the year where he only had 10 disposals, and somehow the 33 on the weekend were worse than that. So, yeah.
Yep. Brody Kemp.
Anyway.
Brody Kemp's couple of goals late were massive. Nate Caddy kicked that goal late to give you guys a sniff, but I think when Harrison Jones, it was kind of nice that Harrison Jones came back after his foot went that way and his body went that way last year, which was horrible. It was good to see him come back.
It was.
Kick a goal.
Same thing. There was some positive signs that we haven't seen for quite a few weeks, and all I can say is I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I like it. And then finally, the big freeze. You're at this game, 83.
I was.
The D's hold on to beat the Pies, 75. Cozzy kicks the sealer at the end, which was electric after a couple of other things that he'd sort of almost tried to seal the game and botched it badly. Yeah, the Dacos early goal that was just an absolute belter, and then Fritsch kicked another one later that was just as good, but from the opposite side, which was very fun. So tell us about this game here, Jez. How was it? How was the slide? How was everything else?
The atmosphere there was unreal. I reckon of the 90, so I think it was a touch under 90,000 there. There would have been 80,000 beanies, and it was actually really, really cool to see. As I said, we were sitting way up in the nosebleeds of the MCC, and we had a really good view of the ground, which I like being able to see the whole ground like that. But yeah, everywhere you looked, you couldn't tell who was supporting who because it was all just big freeze beanies, which was really cool and a really good tribute. And again, they both ran through the banner, as I said. You can see that over there. It was maybe I'll just get back, but anyway, it was a really cool, really cool banner. They obviously they do it quite well. I do have one thing that I didn't like about what they did with the slide. They had, obviously, their 10 celebrities go down and they carry on about all them, and that's all great and good on them all for doing what they do. There was one, they had a community slider who had, him and his family had raised $100,000 all up for Fight MND. And the good people at Channel 7 couldn't find it within their hearts to actually put him on the coverage. So he slid in an ad break with no announcement to the crowd or anything. So they came back from an ad break and showed a replay of it on the screen at the ground. Now, I wish I remembered this guy's name, but, what an awesome thing to do to raise $100,000 for any charity as just a single person, as a family of people wanting to do the right thing. And all they could do was show a quick replay of him getting dunked. It's just, I don't know. I find that the game is about the community. And if we're going to treat our community like that, then, that just shows you where they're I don't even know the word for it, but where they think the game is, and it's about the money, not about the, they don't want to bump an ad for an extra 10 seconds to give this bloke 15 minutes of fame for doing something absolutely awesome. So that kind of annoying. And there was a bit of discussion about it in the area I was sitting, not just with my friends, but others were feeling much the same. So that was one little downer that sort of annoyed me. But the game itself was great being a neutral there with 3 Melbourne supporters, one of which was very non-complimentary of his own players, which was quite easy, and a sprinkling of Collingwood supporters nearby, one of which was very vocal until she wasn't. But it was a good game in that much like the West Coast and Port game and even the Carlton and Essendon game, the skills were horrible for most of it. The decision-making wasn't great by both teams. The umpiring was ordinary both ways again. So there wasn't really any advantage, you could say, despite what you might hear in the media. There wasn't a great deal of advantage. The kicks that weren't paid as versus the ones that were and all that. It evened itself out. Posy Pickett, he wasn't great, but he also wasn't bad. So he had 30-odd touches, won the Neil Danaher trophy for the most courageous. And look, yeah, okay, I don't think there was anyone else you could have given it to. Maybe Nick Dacos if the Pies had got up. But he did win the game for him. Jeez, he made some horrible errors in that game. He's he made some very big mistakes, which a lot of Melbourne supporters had some pretty vocal thoughts about. But yeah, I thought the Demons were clearly a better team. Collingwood outworked them and kept themselves in the game, and then when Melbourne decided to actually work as hard, they were just a better team. So yeah, interesting game. Interesting to see Melbourne sort of plug through and win a tight, scrappy one. So, and in case, I think we've already mentioned it once, but I better mention it again. Scott Pendlebury, I believe you may know him from his basketball background. He broke the game's record again for what is it, Jim? The third or fourth week in a row? Isn't that amazing?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Michael Tuck
and I hear
he's
probably going to do it again next week. So just be on watch for that because you might hear something about it during the week.
I'm still stunned that I didn't know that he played basketball. That's incredible.
Well,
right. That was a really good win for the D's, I thought. I really enjoyed that last because once was it the McStay goal that he kicked and you're like, oh God, this is going to be the Pies. There's a couple of to go
away with it. He was pretty good to go. He didn't set the world on fire, but he was solid. A
couple of weird shanks late. Like he missed the kick, like the sort of snap around his body from the set shot snap just ballooned it, but otherwise. Anyway, good win. Right. Let's do some awards from the week then, I guess. Gablet areas. One of the great things about playing 24-0, 23-0, 24-0, what is it? I've forgotten already. 24-0, I want to say.
23-0.
God, 23-0. That's how many games there are. Is the different versions of Gary Ablett. I very much enjoy that. You've got like the 2000s Gablet, you got the 2010s, and it's like Geelong, it's Gold Coast. I'm like, this rocks. I'm just all about this. So, anyway, the Gablet areas this week. Logan Morris, 7 goals. He was absolutely massive.
Pretty good.
When he gets rolling, it's hilarious because he's like 4 years old and he's just massive and he's just clunking it. It's unstoppable. And yeah, like he was on 6 goals for a really long time. Kicks a 7th, and then at the end gets absolutely dogged by Charlie Cameron, where you're like, geez, like just pop it over the top, and Logan Morrison's got 8. But Charlie had a ping and missed it, so a bit of a tough one. So you could almost buy Logan Morris a beer as well. Yeah.
True.
Just wanted to ride that motorbike one more time, ring-a-ding-ding.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Logan Morris, I enjoyed that one a lot. He was really, really, really good. How about you there, Jez?
I loved the game of Flying Ryan, Liam Ryan. I thought he was pretty good. Got on the scoreboard, took an absolute hanger. Was probably the reason why the Saints were well out in front to start with, and then everyone sort of kept rolling along. But he sort of felt like that barometer for him, that he was up and about, and so were the Saints. And then when he sort of dropped off, that's when the Swans come back, and then he popped up again. So I really enjoyed, probably not the best on ground, but he's the one I enjoyed watching the most for the weekend. The other one who was probably close to was Jai Newcomb. He was pretty good, even though they lost. He had a lot of the footy, especially in the first half. And young Nick Dacos, I would have given him the best on this week if they'd won, because he had 23 touches to half-time, kicked an absolute perler, as we mentioned. So, yeah, I didn't really have one particular one. But, yeah, Logan Logan Morris was pretty good. So go with that.
Liam Ryan with 5 is pretty massive as well. It was very good. Who am I buying a beer this week? I've got 2. I've got Taylor Byrne from my beloved Blues, who at a game that we attended together, watching Carlton Collingwood, had a chance to tie that game after the siren, and missed the set shot. And this week against the Bombers, managed to go back and slot a pretty big goal at a pretty important time. So I enjoyed that a lot. It was good to see everybody get around him as well. And obviously, I'll buy him a beer once he's, hopefully up and about and feeling better. Brody Myercheck, that was such a brutal sort of dump on your head. And like every time you see that, it's like a visceral reaction of like, oh God, right? It's just, it sucks. So yeah, hopefully he's all right. Who have you got, Jess?
Well, I'm going to buy someone who I have been very, very critical of for the entire season, so much so that we've named another award after him. But I'm going to buy Ben Mackay a beer because he's swung forward.
I was waiting for this.
He swung forward and he swung into the ruck, and by God, he was actually okay. So I'm going to buy a beer to say thanks for finally turning up and earning a percentage of your $1 million a year. So I'll buy him. Maybe I'll buy him one of those potato-based Irish beers or something like that. So Ben Mackay,
love it. He was really, really good, and like it was a good move because obviously Carlton has got has got no size down back with Wiedering out, and so you've basically got Harry Dean and like nothing else, and Dean's like obviously trying to cover Caddy, and
he did a really good job on Caddy. Did a really good job on Caddy. I mean, our delivery didn't help, but he also when it was kicked to him, Harry Dean was all over him. So yeah, that's gonna be one to watch for a long time. Is that battle between those two, and hopefully next time it goes Caddy's way.
Yeah, because Dirksen was getting absolutely towed, and you're like, oh, this is not good, and that was kind of like the Mackay matchup, and it was not great. Speaking of which, the Ben Mackay spot of the week. This is going to go to your man, Zach Merritt, unfortunately. I was watching this. I'm like, what was that? And there was at least 3 different times late in that game that he kept the Blues in it.
Yeah.
Which is not good because he plays for Essendon.
Yeah. I hate agreeing with this, but as I said earlier, that's probably the most ordinary game I've ever seen him play. So, anyway. Hopefully his next ordinary games.
After a year of watching Carlton, as I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, it's unusual to be playing a team that butchers the ball kicking wise more than Carlton, and you're like, this actually, now I know how everyone feels when they play against the Blues. So yeah, Zerrett was just completely off his feed. Was there anyone else you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah, I've got James City, the Hawks. So I think the way he carried played a big part with the way he was carrying on in the way that Hawthorn came out in the second half, because they were pretty ordinary, and because he didn't look like he wanted to be there the way he was carrying on, and I think he played a part in possibly costing them the game. So yeah, but so he's the spot, and obviously you can't get past North Melbourne Football Club. Selling the game there again, they're there for 2 weeks. So imagine we'll obviously get to our picks, but geez, I'd be pretty confident if I was a West Coast supporter this week. It's going to be hard to bounce back from that being away from home.
I'll pay that. Yep. Right, better than Bootsma. This one is my grown adult son, Jed Walter. Good to see him get on the end of the ball a couple of times for the Suns. I enjoyed that. And then I think I never actually went back. I was like, because I was watching this game, I'm like, all right, Jed Walters had a good game. He had 7 touches and kicked 2 goals, and that's all that matters to me, though. I'm like, Jed Walter is unbelievable, and I can't wait for him to be a Blue. So let's go. How about you, Jez?
He's going to look really good. I think Jed Walters is going to look lining up in the same one. Yeah. Better than Boots, mate. There's a young boy called, and I can't remember his name. I didn't write this down. I'm very, very well prepared and researched, as we are at Footy. Find this bloke's name, but he played for the Demons yesterday, and he didn't do a great deal, but I was pretty impressed with. Of course, my phone's now not going to load because why would it? Number 44 for the D's. His name was Luca. Luca, where are you, Luca? Starts with K. Luca Kentfield. So he only had 4 disposals and kicked the goal, but I enjoyed his attack on the ball. And I think there was another. So he was a debutant, and then there was another debutant for the Pies. It was Mitch Pedajski. I think is how you say it. 27-year-old debutant. Kicked his first goal in his first game. Same with Kentfield. So I'm going to give a draw between those two because I thought that for first gamers on a pretty big stage, they handled themselves pretty well. So Kentfield just looks like one of those big raw, key position players who hasn't worked out how to play in the size of his body, but he's got that country strong look about him, and I think he'll be a good one to watch down the track. And I always like to see when a mature age and a proper mature age recruit like a 25 plus comes in and does well. It's always good to see that. It's sort of that feel good story, I guess. So I even though he's playing in Collingwood colours, I still enjoyed seeing him do well.
Well, I think he's Mitch Podolski or whatever it is. Podolski. Yeah. Pods. They were saying on the broadcast, it's like, he's like Pod Sadley. Because another mature age big fella is just like going around and just like, hey, I like kicking goals and I'm old. So that's kind of neat. Right, let's do some quick yeah-nahs. These are the fast hit-em-up ones that we're going to run through right now. Is anyone beating Freo, Jez? Yeah-nah.
Nah, never again.
Wharfy time.
Wharfy time.
3 on the trot. Are the Dogs for real? Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
It's going to be interesting on Thursday night, which we'll get to. Dogs in Adelaide. But yeah, for now.
Cats, worried. Yeah, nah.
Not really, no. Right. I think they're pretty good at this caper. I think they'll work their way through it and be there at the end or close to
it. Suns lost 2 on the trot either side of the bye. Worried, yeah, nah.
Yeah. They lost to North and they're obviously in great form. And they don't look to gel. They're not gelling this year. Last year they looked awesome. They gelled, and this year it's almost like they've gotten too far ahead of themselves. So yeah, I am a bit worried.
Are the Crom any good? Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. That's all right.
Would you like me to elaborate?
I mean, the Crom is such a weird one because you can, on their best days, you can sort of go, oh, maybe they can step up and beat anybody, especially if they're playing possibly at home. And then you sort of have that moment of but by the same token, they've lost, what is it? They've had 8 games that they've, 8 of their games have been decided by 14 points or less, which is crazy.
It's unreal.
And so they lost to Freo by 2. They snuck by the Saints. They got their heads kicked in by the Lions at the Gabba and snuck by Power in a showdown. Handled the Tigers, smashed the Roos. But none of their wins have come against anyone good until literally basically this week. So,
but you could say the same about the Dogs, who were after round 3, we were saying, is anyone beating the Dogs ever again? And then all of a sudden they got the Essendon injury bug, but they've come through the other side. So that's why I guess the result of this Thursday night game is probably going to tell us which one of the teams are for real and good and which one would just I think it might be season over for one of these teams. There's a nah. Season over for the loser of that game, Jim. Nah.
Interesting. I like that. I don't know if it's going to be over because I think like with GWS, Collingwood, like the variable nature of a lot of those teams, like 7 through 12 is...
And the wild card's going to play a big part in that as well. So...
yeah, all the
that's
chopping
going
and
to be very
changes.
interesting.
Speaking of which, the last one is pies. This isn't even a nah. It's just WTF. Nah, I guess.
So I saw a stat yesterday, and in Craig McRae's, this is his 5th year of coaching the Pies. So the first 3 years, they had a well above 50% record in games decided by, I think it was either 10 points or a goal or less. And it was what they did. Last year, they dropped just below 50%. This year, they're well below. For the last 2 years, I think they're at about 20%. So what they were good at was timing their run and just getting over the line. They can't do that anymore. And I think it's because the players they rely on to get them across the line have aged out of being able to be the man. Players like DeGoey and Sidebottom and Pendlebury and all those sort of players, and then combined with the injuries of obviously Darcy Moore, and they've had a few others who have been in and out of the side. They're obviously going to lose Braden Maynard for a little bit with that dislocated shoulder. Jamie Elliott hasn't, even when he was playing, wasn't in form. They got rid of Myercheck, and unfortunately we saw what happened to him. But so I just think they're on their way down.
There you go. That's the answer to WTF. So good track. Like it. All right. Round 14. Preview. We start off in sunny Melbourne. Out of nowhere. The Dogs versus the Crom. So Western Bulldogs hosting Adelaide. This is a really, really fun. Again, these two teams that just should be playing on a night. Like, I'm all about it. Like, Western Bulldogs should only play GWS during the day. Every other team, I'm happy if they play them at night. I think that's fine by me. It's all good. But the Dogs and the Crom at Marvel Thursday night. Dogs are 3.5-point favourites. I think I'm going to go the Dogs here, Jez. I just sort of prefer them, especially at Marvel. The Crom, the travel, it's, I don't know, Adelaide at, the speed of Marvel probably helps them out a little bit, but I think the Dogs are probably just a little bit too good. But this should be an absolute cracking game, I reckon, with all the Dogs
I'm looking forward to this game. I'm actually considering going along, but I probably won't. I'm gonna take the Crows. I think the Crows can. I don't know. I think this is going to be another one of those 1-pointers because it was one or 2 points last time they met in Adelaide to the Dogs, I believe. So I reckon this is going to be another close one. So I'm going to go with the Crom to cover.
Nice. Like that. Then we have Friday down at Taxpayer Stadium in Geelong. Geelong minus 26.5. 26.5-point favourites over the Gold Coast Suns, which is...
Do you have any faith in your beloved Suns, Jim?
I kind of do. I want to know what jersey they're wearing in this game, though.
Yeah.
If they're wearing like the pink, I feel like they could win this game in Geelong. But if they're wearing any other
wins down there,
that's it. I'm kind of vibing it a little bit. I want to take the Suns plus 26.5 because I think the Cats at the Cattery obviously very, 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 very good. They did beat them 61-37 there last year, but at the start of this year, the Gold Coast kicked the absolute bejesus out of the Cats. So it's this sort of weird mix. Yeah, so I think the 26.5, I kind of want to take it because I feel like the Suns, they have to bounce back, don't they? This is below the 27 parallel, obviously, but I feel like they can at least make a contest out of it. I don't think they win. I think they keep it at least decently close.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with your beloved Suns as well to cover. And if this was 3 weeks ago, I probably would have said Geelong, and that line's not big enough because they were looking the goods, and then they've lost to your beloved Blues.
Yep.
I can't remember the other game, and then the Crows. So they haven't looked great in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to go the Suns as well. I think they'll cover. I think the Cats will get it done. But yeah,
Gold Coast are 0-9 at GMHBA all time.
Jeepers.
Anyway,
I thought they'd won there, but here we go.
It's neither
Why
here
fact
nor
check?
there. Who needs it? That's for big J journalists. Remember, simple as that.
Well, they don't do it.
Yeah. Well, them certainly well don't. If you're reading specific ones,
not naming any names, John Ralph.
He's just very busy carrying water for some umpires. It's okay. Then we get to Saturday. The team that you have beaten already this year.
Our bunny.
It is the Melbourne Demons minus 30.5 against the Essendon Bomb Rays at the G, where Melbourne, I think Melbourne are undefeated there this year, right? I think that's what they showed.
Yeah, probably right.
So
for
yeah,
now.
I think the D's 30.5. So 5 goals. Can your guys cover this here, Jez? What do we reckon?
Well, there is forecast for up to 10 mil of rain on Saturday in Melbourne.
Jeez.
15 in Ballarat, which is probably why I'm not going to go to Ballarat. I'm actually probably going to this game. So I'm going to say that we can cover because I think it's going to be a absolute horror show as far as skills and stuff go. So I think the scores will be low, and I reckon it'll be a big 4-goal win to the Demons. So I'm going to take the Bombers to cover.
I'm joining you. I think for the simple fact that I think the D's have been pretty good. The Bombers were really good against the Blues, and I think it sort of sticks with you a little bit for a week after, and off they go. And 30.5 just feels a hint too heavy for me, so I'm going to go the Bombers. North Melbourne against the West Coast Eagles.
6.5
This is
point favourites.
6.5 point favourites are North Melbourne in Perth, which is crazy.
I'm taking West Coast, Jim.
Make it make sense. I'm going the Eagles. I was so disappointed by the ruse this week. It was gross. So maybe the week
big
over there
backwards.
They get
big step backwards. I think they've undone a bit of the work that they'd done earlier in the season with that loss. But I don't know. I want North to succeed. I want them to be good, and it's really hard to see them get much better when they take such big backward steps like that. So that wasn't a backward step. That was turning around and running away. That's how bad that was.
Yeah. West Coast 3-3 this year when they play another team coming into Optus Stadium that's from interstate. So not bad. Port Adelaide, 17.5 point underdogs against the Swans at home on Saturday night. This is I don't know, Sydney, it feels like, maybe a little bit janky out there in Adelaide, but I think they're probably still too good.
Yeah, I think they're too good. That line is, I don't know. Port Adelaide play well at home. So, but they're also crap. And Sydney, at one point, were never going to lose again and may not lose until they play Fremantle. But do I think they're going to beat them by more than... Yeah, I think they probably will. So I'm going to, just to keep it nice and boring, I'm going to go for Sydney. cover.
We have, I think, last time they played there last year, it was 52-71. So that's 19 points. So the line's 17.5. So there you go. Then Sunday afternoon, Richmond hosting Brisbane, which is, I don't know, it's a bit tough. Poor Tigers. I'm going to go the Lions, even if it's at the G. This would have been like a bit of a trap game. I feel like if Brisbane hadn't have lost a couple of games and if Richmond weren't so decimated by injury, but yeah, we're going to still go the Lions here. What about you there, Jez?
Yeah, Lions.
Yep.
Okay, I've got nothing else. Yeah, I feel
even
for
if
them.
it's cold and wet down here, I just don't know if Richmond can kick enough to stay within touch. And then we close out St Kilda hosting GWS. So that Richmond game randomly, I believe, is in Tassie.
I would say what?
So I've just dug into this. It's in Hobart, not at the G. So I'm like, hang on a second, because I was like, wait a minute, Brisbane playing at the G against Richmond. That seems a bit how you going? And it's because it's in Hobart.
What's going on there?
So we've all learned something. And then I don't think that really changes my
tip, Jim. It doesn't change anything.
And then we have the Saints, who are 3.5-point favourites at home against GWS at Marvel, which feels about right. And I think I'm going to go the Saints here. GWS coming off the bye, Saints coming off 3 really tough losses, 3.5 points. I think they've got just enough in the tank to probably get by GWS. On the road, I've just remain unconvinced by the Giants this year. What about you, Jez?
I have also been unconvinced by the Giants until they put 14 goals on the Lions in a quarter. And since then, they have taken care of the Demons. Admittedly, that was in Darwin. Sorry, not Darwin, Alice Springs. And if you remember back to, I think it might have been round 2 or 3, the last time these guys played, and I believe it was St Kilda that got home.
4 points.
4 points, yeah. So I think this could be the game of the round. This could be up there with the Dogs and Adelaide for the game of the round. I'm going to take the Giants to cover.
Nice. So they play pretty good games, these two. And so 74-78, 104-93, 110-82, 80-79, and then the Orange Tsunami elimination final that I was at in 2023, 101-77, where we had amazing seats, really like the President's Luncheon. It was crazy. Anyway, it was awesome. And yeah, it's just, again, the sort of interesting jumper clash. They play really good games, and this should be another cracker. So I'm still going to take my Saints.
Both teams need to win.
Yep.
That's an understatement, but yeah.
We have 4 of the best. Well, we've got 3 of the best teams in the AFL on bye this week, and Collingwood. So there we go. The picks tracking. Jez is 2 up on me at the moment because his Bombers actually covered this week. That was the only one we actually differed on. And I think the only one we've got different this week is GWS and Kilda. So
and
Dogs Adelaide.
Yep. Other than that, we are bang on.
Yep, Slevo's Punters Club for round 14. Last week, I had the Carlton Essendon over. I messaged you through like the first, was it halfway through the first quarter? I'm like, I think the over was a mistake in this game.
And you were right, Jim.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Jeez. But this week, with the Crom coming to visit the Dogs on Thursday, I'm going to jump on the Bont early, 25 plus and 2 goals. I think the Crows just defensively, especially in the mids, I feel like they can be got. And I think Bont is the man to probably do it, especially if we get, Libba back, hopefully. Libba come back already, but Treloar wasn't very crash hot this week. And then
I think if Libba comes, I don't think Libba didn't play, I'm pretty sure. But if he does come back, I wouldn't be surprised if it's at the expense of Treloar because he's been pretty ordinary.
Yeah, pedestrian, I think. It's kind of a bit of a weird one. Yeah, but anyway, I think Bont just goes whack, whack. He had 24-2 this week. So I think that's against what? The Hawks. And I feel like the Crom can be got a little bit better. So, yeah, that's what my vibe is now. How about you there, Jez?
Well, I had Ike Heaney to go. I don't think you've got it there, but I'm pretty sure it was Isaac Heaney to go 30-3, maybe, and I'm pretty sure he got 30-2.
Oh.
So I just missed that one. But this week I'm going to go big because I'm already at home, and I reckon Logan Morris for 5 goals plus. I mean, he's going to go back to back with a bag.
He's a guy who just gets on a bit of a roll as well, isn't he? So, yeah, we'll just see how he goes down in Tassie, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that a lot. All right. Is that it? Oh, my God.
That's it, Jim.
There you go. Well, I'll play the music. That is it for the round 13 wrap, the round 14 preview of Footy Unfilterated. This is going to be a really cracking week of footy. I've got
good.
Got something on Friday night, but I'll be out at a pub watching the game and then doing the same thing on a Saturday. And then that's the other big thing this coming up this weekend, if you want to talk about community footy, is the Community Cup. The Rock Dogs versus the Megahertz at Vic Park. I'll be there drinking tins in the sunshine, hopefully.
When's that? On Sunday?
Sunday Arvo. Yep.
I would love to come along, but my youngest is playing at the same time. I might see if I can swing it. He doesn't need me to watch him every week.
I've taken the oldest squid, who is now 7. He has gone every year for the last 5, I want to say. So it becomes our ritual in the middle of June each year. We used to ride the bike.
I've always wanted to get along and have a look, and just I've never been able to, or I've forgotten about that it's on, and then seen the reports afterwards. I missed it again, sort of thing. So yeah, I would love to get there. I will get there one day, but it's obviously a great cause, and awesome.
Yep. So I'll be there hanging out, kicking the footy on Vic Park at halftime with the squid, and the baby one will be there for a little bit too. So it should be good. Anyway, awesome. Get around us on the socials as well. I don't think I ended up posting the power rankings this week. No, I did. That's right. I remember that.
You got them out there. Yep.
Got there in the end. Basically forgot, but anyway. Jump on the socials everywhere that you need.
We stumbled our way through a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Week beer away. So we're back on track now. Back to normal program.
Yep. So mostly just make sure you're jumping on the YouTube, jumping in any sort of comments, sending us through DMs, any nars you want us to answer. We'll have a crack because that's what it's all about. So follow us everywhere. Give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, like, all that sort of gear. Anything else there, Jez?
Just enjoy the footy.
So there you go. All right. That's it. Until next week, stay off the rubbish gear. This is Footy Unfilterated. We will catch you next week.